What's up, my fellow lizards? It's a Lizard's Guide to Gaming here, back at it again with another Fire Emblem review. Last time, I talked about the prequel to this game, that is Fire Emblem Blazing Blade. This time, I'll be doing the same with Fe6, aka Fire Emblem, the Binding Blade. Here's how I'll be reviewing it: introduction, story, gameplay, some characters whom I really like, final thoughts, and overall rating. So, let's get started! So Fire Emblem Binding Blade or Sealed Sword is the sixth installment in the Fire Emblem series of Fire Emblem video games. Released in 2002, this game was never released outside of Japan. But me being the guy who always plays video games on an emulator, I just happened to find a translated ROM to play this game. In this game, the main protagonist, aka the Lord, is Roy, who is the son of Eliwood from Fire Emblem Blazing Blade. Haha. Binding Blade is set on the continent of Alib, a setting shared with its prequel Fire Emblem Blazing Blade. Alib was engulfed thousands of years ago in a conflict between humanity and dragons called Discovering, begun by humanity. The dragons were defeated and banished from the world. Victory was achieved using the 8 divine weapons, which were subsequently scattered across Alib. The story begins when King Zephyr, ruler of Kingdom of Bern, finishes the brutal conquest of Ilia and Sake and sets his sights on Lycia. In a small region called Foray in Lycia, Roy, the son of Foray's ruling Marcus Eliwood, is forced to return home, where Bern begins its invasion. As Eliwood is unable to battle due to illness, Roy is assigned command of Lycia's army. Roy leads his forces to Ostia, another region of Lycia ruled by Eliwood's friend Hector and his daughter Lilina. He is unable to save Hector from death but rescues Lilina from Bern's occupation and sees to the protection of Guinevere, Zephyr's sister, who opposes his war and has fled Bern with its royal treasure, the Fire Emblem. They also discover a small cave on the outskirts of Ostia where they obtain the divine sword, Durando. Over the course of the journey, Roy and the Lycian army also locate the other divine weapons. The Kingdom of Etruria contracts Roy and assigns his army to the Western Isles, where heavy bandit activity is being reported. Though the Lycian army repels the bandits, they discover from either a royal in hiding named Elfin or a dancer named Lalum that Etruria's nobility have allied with the Bern and are enslaving people on the Western Isles to work on the mines. They also find out that Bern has recruited Manakeets, powerful dragons who hide their might in human forms. To learn more about the Manakeets, the Lycian army travels to Arcadia, a hidden city in a vast desert called Nabata, where humans and dragons live in peace, and so that they can gain stronger insight from the elders. A child Manakeet named Fa also befriends Roy during his stay and tags with him. Roy and his forces later return to Etruria and removes the corrupt nobility Narcian, allowing the rightful rulers to restore order and the Lycian army to merge with Etruria. Depending on the player's actions, the newly reformed Etrurian army then continues through either the snowy tundras of Ilia and its many mercenary groups on Bern's contract, or to the plains of Sake where nomad tribes have allied with Bern. Both paths ultimately take the Etrurian army to Bern's borders, where Roy discovers a shrine housing the Binding Blade. Oh, by the way, he also defeats Murdoch, a powerful weapon that rules over the other 8 divine weapons. Combined with the Fire Emblem, Roy is granted with his incredible power and wields the Binding Blade in final assault on Bern's capital. Zephyr is eventually killed by the Etrurian army and his divine weapon, Fe6, is taken from him. If the player has not collected the 8 weapons, the game ends prematurely at this point. The ending that I got. If the player has collected them and they're unbroken, Roy learns that Zephyr orders his remaining forces led by Bern to gather elsewhere in Alib and continue their plans. The divine weapons suddenly emit a light that leads the Etrurian army to this location, an ancient temple that had long ago been built by the dragon. Once inside, Roy is shown the true history of discovering. Dragons despite their powers, were unable to maintain their numbers due to how slowly they reproduce compared to humans. As the war came to a close, the fire dragons captured a divine dragon named Aiden and sealed away her soul. Enslaved to their will, Aiden reproduced dragons at an incredible rate and became known as the Demon Dragon. But she was defeated by a warrior wielding the Binding Blade. Her power was locked away until Zephyl, disgusted at humanity's feelings, released her out of her slumber or whatever, and with this insane desire to return a lead to the dragons. As she has no emotion or free will, Aiden continues to follow Zephyr's orders even after his death and threatens to raise a dragon army that will destroy everything on the continent. On the topmost floor of the temple, the Etrurian army battles and defeats Aiden and her endlessly spawning dragons. In the war's wake, Alib begins to rebuild itself with Guinevere, being the new ruler of Bern, while Elfin returns to Etruria after his long absence. Roy and Lilina become the new markers of Foray and Ostia. If Roy deliver the final blow on Aiden with the Binding Blade, and if Fa is still alive, Aiden survives and is taken to Arcadia to live with Fa while her soul slowly returns to her. Now about the gameplay, Binding Blade did a pretty good job. This game removed a lot of what I like to call half-baked features from FE4 and FE5, such as capturing opponents' units, survival and escape chapters, and only certain characters being able to use the legendary weapons. I really like the simplicity. Then we have some really nice added features such as the mounted units being able to do the rest of their movements even after visiting a village or a house or trading with someone. And then we have simplified fog of war, which I really like. It's not totally unfair. Also, the only requirement for using legendary weapons is now an S rank in the appropriate weapon skill. This means you can almost make any unit viable, and there are over 50 units to choose from in Fe6, which is one of the biggest numbers in Fe whole Fire Emblem series. And last but not least, the best new feature is support conversations, which not only allow you to know each and every unit in depth, but this also shows you the bonding of different units. This is also very helpful when these units are adjacent to each other, as it helps in combats. So Fe6 did a pretty good job with the gameplay. Let me talk about some characters from Fire Emblem Binding Blade whom I really like. First up, we have Alan and Lance, arguably the best units in Fe6, as they're available from the start, perform consistently, and are extremely blessed, especially when promoted to Paladins. Next up, we have Rutger, whom I used as a boss killer when playing Fe6. He's such an awesome sword master and a reliable crit machine. Plus, I love his dark and edgy personality. He's almost like an anime character. Then we have Clarine, one of the fastest and luckiest units in Fe6, especially after she becomes a Valkyrie, and she's a great healer too. Then we have Milady, who's extremely tanky and can take a lot of damage even from the arrows. Heck, I say screw Delphi Shield. Then we got Echidna, who's actually a pretty good unit, often overshadowed by Bartra. We also have Aigren and Fa, Aigren being the underrated sniper who does a really good job, and Fa is just OP, as she's a Manakete. She's also extremely cute. Like, just take a look at that cute face. Aww. Then we of course have Percival, the unit that many people use in place of Marcus once you recruit him. We have Nime, who's helped a lot with great healing skills and dark magic skills. And last but not the least, we have Geese. Once he turns into a berserker, he's almost unstoppable, as he does kick a lot of butts. I mean, berserkers are supposed to be a one-man army after all. And that's it for the characters whom I really like. So my final thoughts on this game are that it's pretty good, but what it needs to make it better is make the gameplay a teeny tiny bit easier, just a teeny tiny bit easier, and make Roy a good unit and give him an actual personality. He's basically like Marth from Fe1, and make Aiden stronger, something similar to RomHack, Project Ember, which I expect from an Fe6 remake if there is any. And my overall rating for this game is a 9 out of 10. It's still pretty good, I guess. It's pretty good. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, why not leave a like? Also hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, you know the drill. See ya, bye.